Well, welcome, guys. This episode of Two Coaches, One Grizz is a little light this week. It's only going to be a coach and a Grizz. Our buddy Frank Morales is indisposed today. You know, he's doing things that he needs to do to better his life, and that's all we care about here. Especially this guy, the Grizz, always wants people to do things better for them. But it's unfortunate he's not here because I really had a nice conversation about the Eagles, how they were the dark horse team, and all that. And I was really waiting for that conversation apparently that I needed to have about, with Kirk Cousins being like, he was going to bring receipts about being compared to Rodgers. I'm going to stop talking now because I do need to introduce the only coach that really matters to me right now, Mr. Gil. Talk to me, Gil.
Thanks, Grizz. First of all, sir, how was your birthday weekend, sir?
Actually, it was pretty good. How was your birthday yesterday?
I can't complain. My birthday weekend was good as well, and I thought it was important for me to shout out to you.
I appreciate it. I forgot because it was so long ago. It was 5 days ago. Yours was just yesterday. It's amazing.
It's a great weekend. It's a long weekend.
I guess Tom Brady's not the only GOAT around here. We got a couple GOATs in the house.
There you go. But yeah, again, and we talked about it. The NFL is about matchups, and that San Francisco proved that. And
that one was. I think we both saw that one. I believe so. The difficulty, not to mention, you add in the choke of the Cowboys. Usually comes in about this time of year. I mean, not for nothing. That was a bright side for me. But, man, the Niners, wow, scary. Rodgers is going to have something to worry about. But my question to you is, besides that, what was your biggest, take of this weekend?
I mean, I was impressed with the way the Rams played.
Yeah.
I thought the Rams played really well. They finally came together.
I thought they would lose, to be honest.
You know what? I thought it was going to be closer. Mm. I was very disappointed. And I heard some things today, and maybe I should have looked into that a little bit more. Kyler Murray hasn't been playing as well the last 3 or 4 weeks as he had before he got hurt and stuff like that. So I think that was a big deal. The Arizona defense did not show up at all, and it was great to see Odell play.
Yeah, he's
step up,
getting back to the spot where he used to be. I'm not yet. It helps that Woods is out, so he's getting a lot of targets that Woods would have got, but he's contributing.
Cam Akers looked like he hasn't missed a beat.
Welcome back.
Wow. Where was he? During fantasy football when everybody drafted him.
When they started picking up all these guys midseason, we were like, wow, this team should do what they need to do. And then the hiccups that made me think that, I couldn't believe in Stafford. I needed to see him win a playoff game big time. He showed up. And now it's actually it's looking pretty good because the matchup against the Bucs is looking good on their favor, I would believe. Which I don't know. What would you think? I mean, we're joking around with the Eagles and stuff. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I thought they'd hang tough, but it was bad.
Well, again,
they couldn't stop them.
When you're a running team as much as the Eagles are, they're predominantly run, and you go up against a defense like Tampa Bay, who shuts you down.
Right.
Their defensive backfield is what's hurt. So that's what you need to attack. So with that being said, the Rams, unless Tampa Bay can get some guys back this week, and I do think 2 guys are on the mend as far as Tampa Bay is concerned. I think 2 of the 4 guys, the other 2 guys I think are out for the season. But again, that would give the Rams a good shot at being able to hurt Tampa Bay where they're vulnerable.
Well, we do have a better passing team this week that's going to target that for sure. At the end of the day, how do you bet against Brady? I mean, how do you bet against that guy? Just when you think, everybody this week, I already saw articles saying, they're in trouble, this and that, they're injury riddled. Which, bro, trust me, I mean, they are injury riddled. We are talking about.
He's clipping all his stuff and putting them up. And you know what? The most glaring thing from that game to me was, I think it was 1st and goal, and nobody covered Gronk.
Right.
How do you not hit him? How do you give him a free release? Right. You don't play manual? Nothing. Play action, guy standing all alone. Nobody even looked at him. Yeah. That to me is...
That I think, safe to say, won't happen this week, but...
It should never happen.
It should never happen.
Especially down there. Down there. In the end zone. You got to at least play man on the tight end.
It's just...
And being Gronk, of all people, that's, again, that was a situation where this game is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be... LA plays outside. They're going to be playing in Tampa. let's not forget, Matthew Stafford has always been a dome guy.
Right.
So that, to me, I think it's a wrinkle, which a lot of people don't think about. I mean, our boy, the GOAT, has been an outdoor guy all the time.
Right.
So to me, that's gonna be a telling sign if there's any wind, what kind of weather conditions we get.
Right? If you get a little rain, little wind, maybe. But I mean, if you're gonna want to play January football on the road, Tampa's your best bet.
I agree.
I think that his safest bet is playing there, and this win is momentum for him. And he's got the weapons. Cup didn't even, we didn't see the full spectrum of what Cup can give you. I can't bet against Brady. It's one of those where I won't be surprised at all.
I learned a long time ago that sometimes the best bet is no bet.
Oh, I definitely don't touch
step back, watch the game.
Why don't we just enjoy this game like true people that enjoy football, and not the degenerates that we will be, probably betting this game.
And I'm sure there's a couple of player props or something that we can sprinkle a little something on. We can go from there.
I hit the Beckham. He had 52.5, and he had 52 yards, and they weren't throwing them.
Oh, my gosh.
Ends up with 54. It's just, it doesn't matter, man.
So you gotta hate Vegas. So you gotta hate Vegas. How do they know?
I'm like, yo, 3 targets, 52 yards in the first half. I'm like, oh, I got this, bro. It's a half a yard. Throw that guy a screen and fall over. All I need. Apparently he did for 2 yards. But I started forgetting about that I even had it. I'm just like, I'll see you at the end of the game. But anyways, we got, all right. So, I mean, other than the Niners, Cowboys, and what was the other close game?
Well, the Raiders and Cincinnati.
Everything was a blowout.
I mean,
everything ended up being a blowout.
Correct.
The Chiefs against Steelers, we knew that was coming. Even though it was 7-0 with a terrible, Watt gets a fumble for a touchdown. You're like, oh, they got a chance. And I hit my teaser, thank God, because this day went over. I'm like, am I going to lose this with the Steelers? Of course, they end up 5 touchdowns for Mr. Mahomes in 10 minutes of football play. Stupid.
The issue is that, again, and I got to give credit to Tomlin, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Because for those guys to even make the playoffs, for those guys to have a winning season, it
15 years coming out of the gate.
It's incredible.
The guys had
it's incredible
no
because
season.
Big Ben had nothing. He's got nothing in the tank. He can barely hit a curl route.
Tua's got a better arm than him.
Yes,
he crazy.
And again, at the end of the day, he's been playing for a long time.
Of course.
He's gone through some injuries.
Not everybody can be Tom Brady and be 45 still ripping it.
And slinging and looking like your arm, like you're back out of Michigan.
Not to mention,
fresh out of Michigan.
Big Ben has been put on the ground so much during his career that it's amazing. His size has been, if he would have been a smaller guy, that guy probably would have been out after 6 years. Correct. But I mean, it was a nice swan song, but if the Chiefs play like that again, scary.
And listen, I don't know.
But the other team that they're going to play destroyed the other,
I don't know what to tell you, brother.
Hey.
That Buffalo guy, those guys look
7
unbelievable.
Touchdowns, 7 drives, 7 touchdowns.
And that's another team
NFL record.
That's another team that's loaded with talent.
Yeah.
They got good receivers, a great tight end, 3 running back. The quarterback is solid. Their defense is lights out. I mean, to me, they're in all my numbers and the stuff that I've got, Buffalo's number 1 in my stats.
Right.
And just because they've got the total package.
Yeah, this for especially the AFC is a year where the records are so tight, and you're 1-2 games away from either being the number 1 seed or out of the playoffs. Records don't matter. It's just the eye test. And if you're blind, if you can't see how great Buffalo is, they're playing ridiculous right now.
And with that being said, they're also an outdoor team. Mm-hmm. So going to Kansas City,
not a problem. Oh, by the way, 38-20 they won earlier this year. So going to Kansas City, not a big deal.
Allen should be not good with weather and things of that nature. And again, I think that's going to be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah,
I think that game's going to be apart from Tampa Bay and the Rams. Mm-hmm. I think that game is going to be solid. I'm a little concerned with San Francisco and their health. If their D-line isn't healthy, I think Rodgers
can expose anybody, and especially at home. He doesn't want to go out again like he has the last couple of years.
And unlike the GOAT, he can throw on the run. He can throw and fling it, and it can be that's another again. I think all the matchups are really good this weekend.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I was just looking over and I noticed to me my little, I'm such a nerd for these things. So in the NFC we have Packers, Niners, and we have Bucks and Rams. Bucks Super Bowl last year, Niners Super Bowl the year before, Rams Super Bowl the year before. Packers lost the last 2 years in the NFC champion to both said Niners and Bucks. So we have 4 teams that are very experienced. So really good teams. Now we go to the AFC. You got KC's been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years, and the teams that they've beat in the last 2 years, Buffalo and Tennessee, they're in there. The only one crashing this party are these silly little Bengals.
The young boys.
We didn't even touch on them. We just mentioned that, the Raiders-Bengal game was the only tight game. Yeah. But you got a guy that doesn't know he's not supposed to be this good right now. Burrows is looking chill, relaxed. That's why they call him Joe Cool. The only other guy I ever heard was Joe Cool was Joe Montana. So you're being mentioned there already. A little early, but he's looking it. You got talk about talent. This team is riddled with the receivers, Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. You got, Mixon. They got talent.
Good running back.
Do they even know they're in the playoffs? Are they that wet behind the ears that they have a chance against these Titans? Because I'm not sold 100% that Titans are a number 1 seeded team. You're getting Henry back. You're getting, you're playing at home. But I still am not 100% sold. Do the Bengals? Do they have a chance?
They have a chance. And the reason they have a chance is because their strengths end up being Tennessee's strengths. So again, it's a really good. This is a really good
strength
matchup
on strength
game.
matchup.
It's a really good matchup game. The Tennessee defense, as far as against the pass, is not very good. They're not solid. They're really good against the run, exceptional against the run. On the other side, Tennessee doesn't throw the ball that well, and Cincinnati doesn't cover that well. Yeah. But Cincinnati's pretty good against the run, and you've got Tennessee is good against the run.
Very good.
Or with the run.
And getting
Henry
the best back in the
So, again, they're very, very evenly matched. Defensive, the points that they give up, the offense and defense match up very, very well. It should be a really competitive game. If Burrow is able to hit his targets and his spots, and that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to him being able to exploit Tennessee's defensive backfield and them being able to stop the run to keep the game within.
I have a funny feeling this is going to overtime because the Bengals this whole year feels like they've been in overtime games left and right, and it has that. I don't think any of the 4 games this weekend feels like blowouts. Every game should be down to the wire.
No, again, the only game game that worries me
is the Niners.
And because of health.
Yeah.
Because if the Niners had gone through this game without being hurt or getting their guys hurt, I thought it would be
safe like, to say they're probably the hottest team from any of these wild card teams because they have been winning a lot. And I mean, just that I had no doubt they were going to beat the Cowboys. Of all the teams that were underdogs, I had no doubt. I didn't put money on it, doubt, different. But they came out, swag, it feels like, but you got to do that against the best team in NFL right now, which I still think is the Packers. Will they be able to do that? I don't think so. I still think the Packers, they close them out. But you're right. That could be the game that maybe gets away at the end. I still think it's going to be a touchdown every single game.
The Packers defense has been solid all season. Yeah. I don't think that they'll change at this juncture.
Why would you?
Their only Achilles heel is the run, which San Francisco's really good at.
Very good at. Yeah, Debo being this Debo Samuels kid.
And the other running back, the other guy.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the fact that they're using him
and
as
McKissick.
Well.
Now they started using the McKissick guy, and they're now all of a sudden they're getting weapons.
They got 4 or 5 guys they're using for the run.
And the most important guy, which is Kittle, is healthy.
Yep.
And he's been, for whatever reason, over the last 4 years, he's been the key. He's a catalyst on their offense.
Yep.
He blocks well, catches the ball. So Jimmy G started playing better, but now that's another injury. Jimmy G has a slightly separated shoulder to go along with a thumb.
Yeah.
So it's so many things.
Jimmy, the Lance kid, is not ready for any of this right now. He would get just exposed so badly in the frozen tundra.
And again, when you take a look at all the point spreads, Green Bay is up to 6 points already. Which, looking at the game against Dallas, you would be like, give me the 6.
Right.
Are you crazy? Give me the 6.
Yeah, you're like, at least they're going to lose by 3 for sure.
That's what you're thinking. You're like, oh, I got a 3-point cushion.
Those silly guys in Vegas know something.
They don't give
It's
a...
more it'll probably be more than double digits instead of the closeness.
They don't give away 4.5, 5 to open up just on a whim.
Right.
So
they know something.
They've already baked in those injuries and the possibility of those guys.
That's looking good for my Super Bowl pick. Yeah.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good weekend.
Well, no, I think for right now we're going to take a quick little break. We're going to come back on the other side with talking about the NFL coaching and seeing what's up with that. All right, we're back, and as promised, we're going to touch up on the NFL coaching carousel. Like, let's see, who do we think is going to get in these positions? Who's got the upper hand? Who's the hot name? I mean, just from ourselves here in Miami, getting rid of Flores, I thought by now we'd have kind of a better showing of who we were going to get. Everybody's talking about Harbaugh and all that stuff. I never thought he'd go for his own college and ruin that. But I don't know. What do you think, Gil? What is the hot names out there? Who's being looked at? What do you think?
Well, before I get into that, there's some things that are going on.
Okay.
That bother me.
Oh.
That
speak to me.
It puts me in a difficult position. Maybe it's because I've been in Miami my whole life, and the way I've seen things develop over my lifetime. We've gotten caught up in this narrative of minority coaches, white coaches, et cetera, et cetera. The more I see players, the more I hear ex-players and coaches, race is not an issue on the football field.
I believe that.
Race is not an issue in the locker room.
I believe that as well.
It may have been at the beginning of integration. It may have been during the early 70s. But I think that once we hit 1975, those things all started changing. Now, the hiring process might have not. The owners may have had a different philosophy at that time during those times. I'll say yes. I'll acquiesce to that. I'll give in. But we're in 2021. Sorry, 2022. My bad. I'm short by a year.
Time goes
I'm trying to stay young. My birthday,
I hear you.
So again, we're in 2022. And I think, it's my opinion, that the NFL owners in today's game are more concerned with their bottom line, winning, and who the face of their franchise is than about the color of that person's skin. I am a Raiders fan. We were the first team to hire a black head football coach.
Art Shaw, right?
That guy, for me, was an offensive lineman. Loved that guy. That guy was a Raider through and through. Okay? So again, at that time, Al Davis had the wherewithal. He was, mind you, this is one of the original AFL guys. He had the wherewithal to hire an Art Shaw, to put a black head football coach in front of his team, not because he was black, not because he was making a statement.
The guy was a Hall of Fame offensive lineman.
Because the guy
knew football.
He knew football.
And I think you want to have guys that know football.
Coached, was part of that fraternity.
Right.
And I think we lose sight of that. I think that we're allowing the outside politics fester into what football's really about.
Right.
Football is a fraternity. Most of the coaches that get hired is because they came from someone else. They knew someone. They have connections. And yes, in the 70s, the minority coaches really didn't have connections. A Tom Flores, which is a Hispanic man, also hired by the Raiders, first Hispanic to be hired as a head football coach by the Raiders.
Al Davis was a trendsetter.
Again, but he was a good football coach, was a good quarterback. So again, these are all guys that knew someone, coached for somebody, are in that tree, as we say. We're starting to see the move from the old guard of coaches like the Parcells, the Belichicks, those guys like that, to now you have the Bruce Arians, you have the Reeds, you have all these guys now that are branching off their guys. And when you take a look at the sideline on an NFL football game, you can't tell me there's not diversity.
Yep.
You can't tell me that we don't have black coaches, Hispanic coaches, women.
All types are coaching now.
Exactly.
Maybe not the head coaching position, but in all other positions, which eventually will lead up to a head coaching spot.
And again, just because at this moment there's only one, we're making this huge stink.
Correct.
About, oh my God. Calm down. At the end of the coaching cycle, you want to say, man, there's 3 or 4 guys, 5 guys that are viable and didn't get hired. Then I can sit down and say, okay, man, you know what? Why didn't this guy get hired? What's going on with the interview process? And that's the other side of it. And we were talking before we got on. The head football coach becomes the face of the football team. People forget who the owner is. People are not really concerned with who the owner is unless he fires the guy, unless he does something that pisses us off, or he gets caught in an Asian massage parlor. But let's not go there right now. It's all about the head coach, the face of the team, when he speaks, how he acts, how he looks. Those are all things that these guys, they're $1 million franchise. We're not talking.
Remember, Rex Ryan's brother couldn't even get a job. White guy, but he had long hair. He didn't look the part for a head coach. That was brought up. So it doesn't really matter color. It's appearance and what they want to present for the team.
What you look like. Yeah. And I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna throw you another bone.
Right.
Not everybody's built to be a head football coach.
Exactly.
Not every great coordinator can be a good head football coach.
Absolutely.
Wade Phillips is a perfect example. That guy was one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL.
And every time he got a head coaching job, stunk it up.
Couldn't handle it.
So went back to being a coordinator.
Superstar. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to throw out a name out there that I think that we're looking at him here at the Dolphins. Okay, and I say we because I live in Miami, and I do want them to win.
Of course.
Dan Quinn. I don't know about him.
I know.
He's a great, as a coordinator, he's already shown, head and shoulders.
He was great for Seattle, went to Atlanta. It kind of, got him to where he needed, but you lose the game in 28-3, and the rest of his coaching career after that sunk until he went back to being a
coordinator,
defensive coordinator, and killing it again, giving him the opportunity again to get another coaching job. However, you might be right, but we always want to give him at least the second chance. Right. Because we got to do the Bill Belichick, give him another shot.
I agree.
Else.
I agree. But again, that's something that I want to look at and see, where does that guy go?
Exactly.
How does he work out?
I don't want the 3rd time or 4th time retread. I'm tired of that. I'm okay with giving the second chance. For instance, okay, now to give a little bit of fire to why the media, I think, burns this up, saying that there's, race always, we got to do the Rooney Rule. We got to interview at least either one minority. For instance, the Texans head coach, Cully, I think his name is, 1 year out the door. Some people would say, not fair. We didn't give that guy a chance. Brian Flores, 3 years, but still, the way he's handled this, back-to-back seasons winning, first time in 20 years for the Dolphins. You could say, the way he brought back, the end of the season, 1 game away, give this guy a chance, and he was let go. You could say.
But his GM is black.
Correct.
So.
Exactly. So what does that say? They didn't get rid of the black GM. And it just doesn't make sense. I believe what you're saying is right. I'm just saying that that's what people will always say. Oh, look, we're back to 1. And which is understandable. I think we're going to be right back with Brian Flores next year. Someone's going to pick that guy up. Bieniemy should be hired, I believe, in my
Leftwich is another name that's being moving name. Around and
we should easily have 4 to 5 maybe.
Again, I do think that, and then when you take a look at and we talked about it earlier.
Right.
We talked about Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Well,
here's a guy at a franchise that's had 3 head coaches. I think they only had 3.
They've had a few more, but
I don't know, because after No, who came in after after No?
Cowher, and no, but I'm saying before No, they had like 20, 30 years in the NFL. I just don't know. The moment No came in is when they existed.
Well, Chuck Noll in the 70s. To me, I think Chuck Noll was there at the inception or second coach.
But I'm saying it's been 50 years.
They've had 4 coaches tops, I think, in 50 years.
Right.
Because everybody's been there for 20 years as a head coach.
No.
But again,
totally get that.
There you see a black head coach who's done an amazing job every year. They're the model of consistency. Whether Big Ben was hurt, but he kept winning. They stayed to the plan. They did their thing. So again, that shows you, to me, it shows you that it's not we're past that.
I think we're past it too.
At one time, it was an issue. You know what
I think it is? Remember how we used to have the problem with the black quarterback? There wasn't that many black quarterbacks. You'd have Warren Moon. That was for a little while. You had a Doug Williams, then a McNabb. But now it's just over time. Time will take care of this. No, and 10 years from now, we might have half the league with a black head coach.
You just mentioned a guy, and I was gonna talk about him, and I'm glad you brought him up. Warren Moon.
Right.
The Warren Moons of football got into broadcasting, and then into a profession, a business. Yeah. They became entrepreneurs.
Correct. They had a life after football.
Many of those guys didn't want to coach football. Charlie Batch, was a backup for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is a big money baller. In fact, he's got such a big money baller, they was offered one of the top quarterbacks in the portal, a nil, to go to Eastern Michigan. Okay? I mean, so and that's my contention. Right. When you see all these black educated men, okay, that are doing other things, they've chosen not to coach.
Correct.
Maybe those guys were the guys that were a Warren Moon. You can tell me a Warren Moon would not have been a good candidate? Warren Moon is everything that you want. Embodies everything that you want in a football coach.
Doug Williams ended up being an amazing coach.
Doug Williams went to Grambling. He took over it. You know, I mean, and those are the things
These are the decisions people, exactly. At the end of the day, you got to have the people that make the decision, I want to become a head football coach. And sometimes you get that burnt out feeling that I just want to get away from the game. I don't want to coach. And then just some are gravitated to that. That was what they were meant to be.
I want to be an announcer.
And I think a Leftwich or a Bieniemy, good players in their own right, I think coaching will be what they're known for at the end of the day.
The other small caveat that I'm going to give you is, let's not forget, the guys that are better players and better athletes deal less with X's and O's than those that are of lesser capacities. Because those of us that are limited athletes, myself included, have to have really good technique. Our technique has to be picture perfect. Right? So we get the technique thing way before the greater athletes do, or the better athletes do, because God's gifted them with great ability. So the swim move is easy; they're gone. The rip move, they don't spend as much time on the technique, not because they're lazy, no, because they've got so much God-given talent that it's a simple boom. So again, they've got to learn that side of it, because what was easy, I'm sure there was. With Tom, yes. But with other quarterbacks, what was easy for Byron Leftwich to do.
But remember, forget color, any of the greats don't end up being really good coaches.
No.
Because they were just so great.
Shula was a backup.
Yeah. And exactly. Usually the great coaches were guys that just, they had a lot of time to look on the bench and see what was going on.
And that's what I'm trying to say. They learned the technique way before they became a coach.
Correct.
You know? So again, some of these guys, and listen, Bieniemy was a hell of a running back.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in Colorado. That guy was a great running back.
What I'm saying, though, is they're great. Yeah. Ben Leftwich is a Marshall legend. I'm just saying they end up not being professionally great. So they have good 5-6 years of being a good player.
They have to learn the technique side of coaching it.
Yeah.
They got to learn the technique.
Once, like every level, high school, college, pro, you get to the point where, all right, I was a excellent college player, but now I'm not. I know my role. Probably going to be a clipboard guy, maybe down the road. I'll be a starter, but, I got to learn. And what happens, those people are sponges. They learn, and maybe they had the passion to be a coach, or their fact that they're the kind of guy that, hey, I'm an older guy, I'm going to teach the younger guy. Maybe they're like cool with that. Maybe because they're not the great ones. Don't want to teach nobody. They don't want their
position.
But the ones that know, hey, this is where I'm at, and right there, a coach is born. Who knows? You don't even know that you want to be that guy.
Again, and this is a rant because I'm just tired of the race game.
Yeah,
I really am because I'm a minority. I get it. I know I've lived in Miami my whole life, but as I've said before,
we live in a different world.
But discrimination goes for everybody. Discrimination goes against white guys.
Because this is such a multicultural place.
Yes, you're right.
We've already accepted all types of shades, all types of languages, all types of people. And unfortunately, some other places don't have as much exposure. And just frankly, there's still going to be people out there. They're only going to live.
Sadly, there's going to be. That's something that we can never erase.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how finely.
There's always going to have a few.
It'll always kind of be there.
It is.
In the back of someone's head. But I think like you, I think that's going away. I don't think it needs to be the part of the topic.
Correct.
What we need to talk about are the people.
Are the guys. And what can they do for our teams and how good are they and the floor is and
I don't care.
And McCarthy, how he blows time management. It's all little things,
See, that guy shouldn't be coaching. He's not that good of a coach. He's only the coach because he's the perfect guy for Jerry that he can tell anything he wants and he's like, yep, I got it, man, no problem. That's just dumb. And certain things that some of these coaches do are just mind-blowing to me. That I don't care what color you are, where you're from, just dumb decisions are dumb, man. I've seen it done with anybody. So, I don't know.
Dumb decisions are dumb.
I think it's going to be coaching. All these coaching changes will happen. I think we'll usually between the Super Bowl and the championship games, like Pro Bowl weekend, once these guys are out, we should be seeing some moves being made, right?
I believe so. I think
because as a Dolphin, you as a Raider, we want to know who's coaching our team.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I really do, and I think I mentioned it last week or whatever. I think our guy at Las Vegas deserves a shot.
Oh, I do too.
I really do.
Forget the fact it's you. You deserve it.
Yeah,
that's your guy. That's you.
My double guy.
That's your double every time. But having said that, the guy deserves it for what he did on the field and with those players. And that guy really knows. He's a guy that's put in his dues. He's put in time.
Correct.
Give him a full year. Let's see what he's got. What's the worst that can happen? It's not going to get as bad as John Gruden finding emails with this guy. I'm pretty sure.
And again, I use Harbaugh as a great example. Mm-hmm. Of that whole special teams coordinator guy. And, he's a really good special teams coordinator. And I think that he'll get better as a head football coach.
Yep. I do too. I think you guys stay at home. Me as a Dolphin, I don't know what I want. Like I said earlier when we started this, I was talking about the guy. I don't even know the guy from the Niners, this offensive coordinator guy. It's
McDaniel. His last name is McDaniel as well.
Yeah, it's McDaniel without the S, like McDaniels.
Right.
All right. I know that this guy was 3 years as a running back coach there, and this year hotness, the whole Debo, using Debo in these plays. Everybody right now, it's the hot thing, And that's why I'm saying I don't know. I just don't make another dumb decision. Let's get a guy that puts in the right guy. Or are we gonna?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know.
My opinion is that if they want to go with Tua, I really do believe that they may have to go after Buffalo and take Dable.
Right.
I think that would be the best match for a Tua that played with him in that system, knows him. I think this guy, he's done some really good things with Josh Allen. I think that offense looks good.
If he's done things with Josh Allen to improve him, I think he can help a little bit here.
So, I still
believe in Tua is what I'm saying.
Right. That would, like I said, and to me, even after Tua, he's a good offensive-minded coach that can develop whoever the next guy is.
Like I said, I think Tua's good enough that if you get the right players, the right talent around them, and especially a guy that can coach, man.
I think it's schematics. Like we said, I think if you take a look at
good.
The game plan they put against New England was perfect. That's the plan you got to have every game.
I know that
and
doesn't
move from
happen
there.
all the time.
It doesn't.
And
which
the
I don't
majority
understand.
of the last decade is the most vanilla offense I've ever seen is Miami football. It's so vanilla. For years, I could call every play what was coming. The run up the middle, it was so predictable. And I just need a dynamic mind. Just give me that.
And develop the running game.
Yes.
Those are the two things you have to do. You have to use that RPO game that this young man really does so well, and they have to run the football. Sorry, there comes a time in the game where you have to run the ball.
We're at the moment right now for all the haters of the running game who are going to be exposed now when all these teams will end up winning games because of the running game. Yeah, you'll have the explosive throws and catches, but you watch it. Almost every single game will be because the team that wins ran the ball down the other team's throat.
Let's go back to that San Francisco and Dallas game. How many times did Dallas run the football? 21 times. 21.
Not going to win.
2 stud running backs and a great offensive line.
Waste. What a waste.
You've become one facet. That's it. You're only one. You've got one. I only got to stop the pass. You're not running the ball. I only got to stop the pass. I got to worry about nothing else.
It's terrible.
It's ridiculous.
Once again, it doesn't. You don't need to have the 100-yard rusher. That doesn't. We don't need that anymore. It's run by committee. But guess what? You have to show the other team that you will outmuscle them, that you will just be a tougher team. That will demoralize the other team. And if you don't want to do that, and guess what? You let the defense go. Oh, you're only going to run it 20 times. Let me pin my ears back and make sure I cover this guy and this guy. And good luck. And, well, everybody telling me, high-powered 50-point games against the Eagles and Redskins, they're going to do it to the Niners. No, that did not happen. 17 points, and late. They got that late. The Niners were, should put money on that one. So,
again, I think that's where the Dolphins really should look for to be able to speak to Dable. Las Vegas needs to stay at home. Chicago, I don't know what to do with Chicago. I don't know anymore. I don't know what to do with Chicago anymore. They've ran everything. They've gone through every coach. You've had the seasoned veteran. You've had the young gun.
Yeah, that's just a place they've never had a good quarterback almost. Because it's just not an ideal place. Chicago.
It was Mike Ditka.
Yeah,
that's it.
Mike Ditka. It was a tough defense. To win in Chicago, you're going to need a superior defense. You're going to need that running game. You need a big, and then a competent quarterback that could just hold. Will they ever have the Aaron Rodgers type, the Tom Brady? I don't think that's how the Bears roll, or they're just not lucky enough to get that.
I don't think they've been smart enough to get that.
Exactly that.
I mean,
they've had terrible leadership.
So again, and that's where I think.
I mean, this guy feels I do trust in him. I like him. It's just that I think they're just going to ruin him, whoever's coaching, unless they get the right pick.
Again, and that's the other caveat that you need to take a look at some of these OCs that have college experience, that have been in the college game the last 5-6 years, that are these quarterbacks are coming from these offenses, because again, the offense of under center is almost gone.
Oh, it is.
It's
I think the NFL is starting. There are teams that have embraced the college game and how to play the college game. Some don't, but I think they need to embrace. Especially, you got Fields. You have to draft people for his game. You have to put people around him for his game. This is another talented guy that I think can play in this league. I think he's a bigger version of Kyle Murray.
Oh yeah, he's a much stronger, much more durable.
But he needs a line. He needs to be, he needs the right. He needs a bunch of stuff.
He needs a lot. He needs a lot of work. He can be, but he's got to get good at progression. He's very slow. Once he gets off his first progression, he's bad at 2 and 3. He's good with one. If one's open, he's great. Once one is covered, and he struggled like that at Ohio State.
Yeah. How about the Vikings? They're still open, right?
Correct.
I mean, you got a better team at least there to work with.
That's another team that's got a few millions of dollars tied up into superstar Cousins.
Yeah.
And
we talked about it last week. The guy's the magician of all magicians to steal all that money, man.
He can win, but again, it's about the rest of the team and what else they could do and put around them. He's got good receivers, running game. Their defense is getting older. That's what's hurting them. So again, we got to see what kind of coach they want to look at and find for them.
By the way, you think Carroll's going to survive? Didn't they just fire their defensive coordinator?
Well, yeah. I think that's what he did to
stay alive.
So we'll see how that Russell Wilson situation works out.
Yeah, if Russell Wilson stays for one more year, they have a chance.
So,
All right. Well, if we're done with that, I think we'll take another little break, and on the other side, we're gonna get into college basketball because now we have to transition fully. That we're done with the football. College basketball is gonna take center stage these next couple months. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. Like I promised, some college basketball talk. First of all, before we get to the man, Gil, who loves this more than anything, he loves talking his college basketball. Happy right now with Creighton as we speak. That's off the radio. That's all I kept hearing. Come on, Blue Jays, come on.
Lovely.
But personally, it feels nice to see these Miami Hurricane basketball boys, man. Just coming off yesterday, even though they're not that good this year, you come off and you win, I think, by 28 against North Carolina. It just feels good. We talked about how they upset Duke the other day. I gotta say, man, I just need to see them beat FSU so we can put them in the AP ranking already, man.
That's coming Saturday.
They deserve it. And I think, we're going to touch a little bit about that later on the dive. Gil's got a bunch of that stuff coming up. But I'm telling you right now, watch out for these baby Canes, bro. They're going to make some noise. Well, having said that, come on, Gil, talk to me.
They played and they beat a team that's not that good. And they beat them. They beat their doors off. Yes. It wasn't even close. It was wire to wire. Yep. They played comfortable. They were hitting threes. I watched the game. I watched most of the game last night, and they just played really, really good basketball. They played defense. They played on both ends of the court. Offensively, they were hitting their threes. They looked solid last night. It was a great blowout here at home. Mm-hmm. They're going to play Florida State at home on Saturday, which that's gonna be a good game. Mm-hmm. I think that's gonna be a good measuring stick for us, as Florida State just came off of a good win against Duke
last night
at Florida State in overtime.
They beat Duke, man. Big deal for them.
I think that's gonna be a solid game, and I think Miami's gonna be all right. Miami looks like they're looking the part. Mm-hmm. They're looking the part. They are one of the better teams in the ACC this year, even though the ACC, as I said before, is weak this year. Miami is playing very well within the conference, and then we'll see how things pan out towards the end of the season. Right. But I'm very happy with the job that Coach Larrañaga is doing. And he listened to the podcast. Well, he listened to us.
Sure he did.
He heard us. He said,
I'm sure he did, because he started.
Those guys over there are talking. Oh, I got to get ready.
Every time I see that guy, he's a good guy.
He
like
really
that guy. He stands for something. I believe he's a good coach, and it's always good. I'm telling you, when I saw him, was it Mason? Where was he at before?
George Mason. I don't want to say it was George Mason. Yes, sir.
I mean, the guy was just rooting for him big time, man. I just want that guy to win something. And yeah, he's obviously the coach of the Canes, so I'm a big fan of that. But I just hope that this year, we get one more good run. I think, obviously, I'm not predicting no Final Four or nothing here. But hey, man, Sweet 16 is not out of the realm. You just get in the dance, you can win a couple wins.
That would be nice.
Now, having said that, what surprised you this last week? Anything on the surprise meter? Because I was surprised that Baylor lost a couple games last week. I think it was last week, right? That they lost. They lost
last week. Yeah. They lost to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And again, that's always one of my pet peeves with Gonzaga, right?
But they lost back to back.
I'm a big Zags guy.
Yeah.
But what happens is that you don't want to go undefeated the whole season.
Correct.
Because you're going to hit a little stretch where you're going to lose a game. Yeah. And the wrong time to lose the games in the tournament.
Of course.
You want to lose a game now? Let's lose our two or three now.
All the superstitions, everybody always wants to run hot, and you have to run hot in a single game elimination because you can't, it's not the NBA.
But Baylor, I think, is still up there, and they're going to be good. Baylor's a solid defensive team. They're not going to go away. You're going to have your upsets. It's going to happen. Right.
No, but I'm saying that I was just stunned that they lost back-to-back home games to an inferior Oklahoma State, which I think was the first time that had happened to a team that was ranked number one or something in a while.
But again, Oklahoma State plays good defense as well. Yeah. And, we've talked about it before. Conference games, there's a lot of myths of, a good team can't lose back-to-back games.
Well, I believe personally, I think the Big 12 is probably the toughest conference, I would say.
Very competitive.
From top to bottom, like they have a lot of teams ranked, obviously, but I'm saying every team looks like they could be a world beater.
And the SEC, both the Big 12 and the SEC this year are about 7 deep.
Yeah.
About 7 or 8 teams
the
deep.
The SEC for a while was only a Kentucky or a Florida, maybe get a Tennessee in, and now it's everybody's playing better.
Tonight we have 2 good games. UF just finished beating Mississippi State by 8.
Okay.
We have 2 other games, which is LSU is at Alabama and Kentucky is at Texas A&M. Those 2 games are also going to be big and important games. Right now, Alabama's winning. Kentucky has just started. So those games are positional games for the SEC and for their tournament. Yeah, which, again, the winners has an automatic bid.
And as I see here, Alabama's not even ranked, and they had been ranked in the top 10 earlier part of the season.
Correct.
So, I mean, whether you're a ranked team or not, you got a lot of solid teams from the SEC. Oh, and Auburn's playing Georgia tonight, I see.
Correct. But Georgia is one of the weaker teams in the conference.
Yeah, 5-12, not looking good there. Yeah, I think we talked about it the last couple of weeks. Big fan of Auburn's. We're pushing hard, I think. At least I am. I think this is a Final Four contender.
Yeah, I got money on them to win the national championship again.
Nice.
I think that they're going to make a good run. I like, again, if we're just talking off the hip, Houston's also another good basketball team, and they've got good defense. It's gonna be this is the most competitive year that it's been in the last I want to say the last 8 or 10 years. Usually the Blue Bloods are the ones that run it off.
I hadn't even noticed Arizona had moved up to the third ranking. That's another sleeper team like Auburn there.
That Arizona team is solid.
I would this is another team that you're gonna have to watch out for in the tournament for sure. Yeah. Let's see the big games this weekend. Obviously for us against Florida State, you got Kentucky and Auburn. I think you were talking to me about that earlier.
Friday, you've got Michigan State at Wisconsin. That's going to be
always those two teams.
Really good basketball.
Yeah, that's a 50s or 60s kind of game right there.
You got Kentucky and Auburn on Saturday. You have LSU traveling to Tennessee. You got Florida State here at Miami. You've got a great game with Kansas and Kansas State. Kansas State is playing really, really good basketball. They just upset Texas last night, I want to say, or the night before. And that's a rivalry game.
Always.
Kansas State.
Definitely. I know from years watching this game, I definitely, it's way more Kansas State takes it more serious because, they're the little babies because Kansas is the little babies in college football to Kansas State.
Right.
But, so it's always Kansas. It feels always like the game's tight and then Kansas kind of like pulls away. Yeah. But I think pretty much what you're saying, this might be a little upset watch here.
And then Baylor plays at Oklahoma. So those are your top games for this week. They had a tough game against Kansas the other day. They should have won. Yeah, Oklahoma played all the way to the end. It was a good game. I love when I love when I see all the rivalry games start picking up in college basketball. It's a good. I mean, even old school. I used to love growing up on the Big East, Villanova, Georgetown. Even though I know Georgetown's not a good team, I just like seeing those old school matchups. The other team out west that you cannot overlook, and I think people are overlooking them. It's going to be the UCLA Bruins. No, you shouldn't. I think that with Cronin and those guys, they're going to be ready for the tournament. I think they have a repeat run at the Final Four. They were got everybody coming back. Year. They're gonna be good. They're good, and Cronin's going to play defense. And you see what I like about it is like the Pac-12 was getting a lot of heat the last couple of years. They weren't that good. They're coming back to USC's playing better. Arizona, like I said, is on top now. It's good to see these leagues get back a little bit better. So they're going to get those great games in their tournaments, harden them, and hopefully, because everybody. It's the funniest thing. Everybody loves Cinderella, right? Everybody loves Cinderella for the hey for your picks, I'm going to get the 12 seed for your brackets. I'm going to get that one. Yeah. But let's be serious. Once you get to the Sweet 16, if you see any Cinderellas in there, you're like, what are you doing here? You want, sometimes every now and then you get that team that runs it. But you just want
You know what I'm saying? You just want the best games possible.
You're gonna get a Cinderella again this year.
You're always gonna get a Cinderella.
Loyola of Chicago,
right,
is also again having a solid season.
Exactly.
They're going to get up
they're no longer the Cinderellas. They're a ranked team. They're 22nd right now.
They are starting to now move up. Now, again, they have to maintain it over the next few years because we've seen Butler go off to the wayside.
Oh, I don't
after
mind.
their head coach
and when
left.
I say Cinderella, I'm sorry. I don't mean, the name. Because I'm telling you, if it, I think Oregon or someone was a 12 seed last year. I just don't like these 12 and 13 seeds are cute for the first round and second. But, I don't want you in my Elite Eight bracket, man. I want these monster matchups, bro.
You have to have a good basketball team. And to be honest, the Cinderellas, to me, end up being those teams that are not in the power conferences that have good basketball players.
Yep.
They have some guys that have transferred from Power 5 teams, and they dominate their conference, and now all of a sudden, nobody knows them, but they're really good.
Yeah, remember a lot of these teams over the years have not been, you don't have those one and dones. You have good cohesive teams that after a couple of years, you got a good solid junior and senior team that makes a good run. I just, what can I say, man? I'm just a greedy old guy myself that I just want good, solid basketball. Those days, I remember, I liked having Butler, against Duke that year. But then we got him the next year, and it was probably the worst championship game ever against Connecticut. Yeah. It was like 40-something to 30. So I'm like, all right, man, this is give me my blue bloods, man. Give me my good stuff.
Sometimes you gotta play, you gotta play the slow game, sir.
No, I totally get it.
You gotta play to your strength.
I totally get it.
You gotta play to your strength.
All right. Well, all right. Let's talk some MMA real quick before we get to your dive, because
big
I know
weekend,
this
is
a big
weekend, guys. Big,
this is a very
big, heavyweight, big.
I'm not too. I only know the heavyweights here. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know any of the other card, but I mean, these heavyweights are to be reckoned with. I mean, I cannot wait.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I took Francis at plus money in the movie. The money has moved against me. A lot of people, I guess, are putting their money on Gagne. I feel in this fight, number one, I just see Francis as a bigger man.
Right.
He's got a longer reach. He is 5 years older, but Gagne is 30 years old. He's not like he's 27.
Right.
We're not talking about he's 28, 33.
Not a spring chicken. The guy's been,
we're not talking, I think that Ngannou needs this fight more than Gagne does. We have to understand that at this moment, Ngannou is on the precipice of big, big money. We're talking a Tyson Fury boxing match. Mm-hmm. We're talking that maybe down the road, he can fight a Johns Bones Jones. He can put himself in a position where after this fight, his contract ends after this fight. Mm-hmm. So to me, as hungry as Gagne is, as hungry as this is Ngannou's first defense. He hasn't defended the title against anybody. He has to. This is his make it or break it.
This is legacy.
He's 35. He's 35.
Gagne has the chance of losing to a guy of this guy's caliber and being able to recover.
Losing early in the season, and then come back at the end and qualify for the playoffs.
He's definitely that kind of guy. This is the Cincinnati Bearcats. We got to go undefeated and stay undefeated and then win.
Correct. And
understand that.
And Ngannou is 35. He knows he's got maybe 2 years left. He's got 36, 37, and that's it. He starts, going on the way down.
Oh, that guy's a monster.
He prepares. He's very prepared. So again, that's why I like Francis this weekend. I think it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great fight. Then the next fight, the co-main event, is between Figueiredo and Moreno. And I did a little research today.
Okay.
There's some heavy drama in this fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Drama in a fight.
It's drama. There's some heavy drama. First of all,
these guys come in lovey-dovey.
First of all, this is the third fight.
Oh, so
for these two guys.
Fight.
This is a trilogy.
Okay, so there is bad blood when you fought this much.
The first fight was a draw.
Okay.
Beat the living crap out of each other. The second fight was another one that they went back and forth.
Could have gone either way?
Well, no, because Moreno finished Figueiredo with a rear naked choke to win the championship. But now, there's a young man by the name of Henry Cejudo in Figueiredo's corner. Henry Cejudo is a former flyweight and bantamweight champion. Triple C is how he liked to call himself in the UFC. It ends up being that him and Moreno were very close friends. Cejudo was his mentor. And they ended up going to Tough 22, okay, which is Dana White's show where the fighters come on and they fight, and they always have two coaches.
Like the Ultimate Fighter type of
correct. It's the Ultimate Fighter. That's what's Tough 22, and they had, the two coaches. Cejudo was one coach, Benavidez was the other coach, and they were going to fight each other. They were going to go after each other, and in that format, the coach gets to pick who his fighters are. So what happened was, in that particular year, they had chosen, or they had ranked the fighters. So one guy was 1, the other guy was 16. When they went to choose fighters, Cejudo's pick was, I want to say his name is Alex Pantoja. I know his last name is Pantoja, which is considered the number 1 guy. Well, guess who was the last ranked guy? Our boy Moreno. So he automatically went to Benavidez' team. So Moreno felt slighted at that time. He felt like, man, I'm your boy. Right. You should have picked me first. He used Conor McGregor as an example. That when he was there, he picked his boy first. Right. Regardless of, we're boys. We're family. Should have picked me first. So as things would have it, Benavidez fights Cejudo. Benavidez beats Cejudo. But then Moreno joins Benavidez' camp for the next fight to be a sparring partner for Benavidez. So in other words, he is now selling out Henry Cejudo.
So he's like, I got mine, you girlfriend now too.
Exactly. You did that to me, I'm going to do this.
So this is super petty. I like this.
There's a little, there's drama here.
This is real.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. So we're going to see Davis Figueiredo.
Who's favorite in this one?
Moreno. Moreno's favorite. Moreno's a very good grappler. Figueiredo's more of a stand-up guy. But now, with Triple C in his corner, I think we might see a little bit more grappling. We'll see a little bit better defense from Figueiredo going into this fight. I think that's going to be, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a real good fight. I want to see how it develops. I want to see how much better Figueiredo is. And
so I'm seeing their first fight was December of 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is a recent, this has happened. It's not one of these.
It's been over the last years. No. It's over the last year.
They've been just fighting each other.
Oh yeah, they fought to a draw. Then they fought again, and Moreno won. And now here we go. We got Chapter 3 coming up Saturday night. It's gonna be a great fight. I've also got a couple guys for you guys to take a look at. I mean, I'm dying to put money on them, but again, like always, the guys that I end up scouting, they end up being heavy favorites.
Right.
We've got a young man by the name of Tony Gravely. Excellent grappler. He'll be fighting Saturday in the early prelims. And then there's another young man by the name of Rodolfo Vieira. He's about 27 or so. He's fighting in the prelims. Another phenomenal grappler, fighter. Those two guys, but they're over minus 220, minus 230. I hate.
It's not worth it.
I just hate putting money down. It just, whatever. I was looking today. I think 150 would get me like $70 or $65. So I was like, I'll just watch them fight. But those two guys are up and coming names. Those are two guys to keep an eye on.
These are the guys we're looking forward to in the next 2 to 3 years.
In the next 8 to 12 months. I think fast. they'll be moving up to the main card and be part of the main card, and they'll be good. They'll be good fighters, excellent fighters. Since we're on the topic of fights and picks and who do I like and which way we're going.
Well, yeah, we are. Nice little segue into the dive.
I'm going to jump into the deep dive real quick. Just get all your picks
out of the way right now. MMA starting.
Like I said, I'm on France. I like Ngannou a lot. I really think that he has to win this fight.
Yes,
that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Of course,
he could get dropped in the first round. What the hell do I know? But I think he has to win this fight. He's got, like I said, he's got a good reach advantage. So I think that could be troublesome. I think a lot of people are putting
What are
money.
the odds on this? Is it close to a pick 'em?
No, well, it's moved. It's moved from minus 120 Gagne to minus 155.
Oh, so
He's gotten
he's
some
becoming a real underdog.
My contention with that is I really think that people are going off of Lewis. He just fought not too long ago and beat, the pants off of Lewis and did a great job. And I think people see that and are jumping on that.
This
and
Lewis is no Francis.
And they forget that Ngannou paid his dues, man. That guy fought Stipe and lost, then went and beat Blades. He's won 6 fights in a row. He hasn't been fighting slouches. Mm-hmm. And then he knocked the champion out. I mean, cold. It was nasty. So again, I just feel that this is a big moment for him.
Yeah, it's not like he's all right. I won the championship. I'm tapped out.
I think he knows him as well because they were sparring partners now.
Right.
They were sparring partners, and I think there might be some anger on Ngannou's part because I think he might feel that Gagne maybe sold him out or left and from under his wing or from his mentoring.
So a little edge.
So again, there might be a little edge there too. That's the way I'm looking at that fight, and I like it. So I'm getting plus money. Listen, anytime I can get plus money on the champion and Francis Ngannou of all champions, I'm gonna take my chances. I am.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
No, listen, I can lose it, but again, I'm gonna take my chances on that.
Fighting is fighting. Anything can happen. One punch, one this, but it's gonna be a little bit the same. You got a fighter's chance with this guy.
It's that guy.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So again, and looking at these this weekend's game, I like Auburn at home.
Yeah,
I really like Auburn at home. I think they're going to be a favorite.
I'm with you there.
I like Miami. I think Miami is going to have a great game against Florida State here at home.
Yep.
I think they'll finally be able to beat Florida State. Again, I think Florida State coming off that win against Duke at Florida State in overtime. I think they really had to work for that win.
Yeah.
So now they got to come and visit. They got to travel.
And I think, I'm sure it was a packed house the other day for the North Carolina game. I didn't really look at the crowd, but what I'm saying is, I think that this is when the fans start coming out, right. And they're like, I think we got a real team, and it's it's against FSU. Always good to play the rival. Right. But I'm with you. I think the Kings are really gonna.
And then my last pick on Saturday is the Kansas State Wildcats.
Yep.
I know they're gonna come out as underdogs. I see it as a 6 to 8 point line. I would try to wait because everybody's going to be jumping on Kansas.
Yep.
And try to get 7.5, 8 if possible. Take those points. Kansas State's been playing very, very well. Really good basketball, playing good defense.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, it's a rivalry game. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah. And as always, Kansas can probably win like they always do. But like you said, 6 to 8 spread or whatever, you probably could see a 3-point game, 2-point game.
Even at 5 points, I feel like it could be a good 5-point game.
But I feel they can cover.
They're gonna, and again, Kansas is gonna be away, back-to-back away games. They played at Oklahoma away, won by 3. Yeah. They're going to travel again.
Not that easy.
So, exactly. They're on a short week, Tuesday to Saturday. So, again, same situation with Florida State. Tuesday to Saturday,
and
travel.
Even though, obviously, Oklahoma's not, your in-state rival, you do have a nice little rivalry there that they had a tough game. And like you said, FSU had a tough game. These are teams coming off tough games. And on the road second time. So you're going to feel a little bit, the letdown is a possibility here. They're kids. This is what they're supposed to do.
Correct. And it gets in that situation where now, back-to-back away games, it's hard to keep up, stay up all the time. You're going to have your bad game.
Right.
So again, like I said, I would take Miami on the money line. And I would take the points with Kansas State. And I like Auburn at home. Those are my 3 with my Francis Ngannou heavyweight championship.
I think if we follow your words, people will be cashing some checks this weekend because I like every single one of those picks. Not that I don't every week like them, but we got to keep it real. If I think opposite of what my buddy Gil says, I'm gonna let him know. But this week, all 4 of these I'm pretty aligned with, and I'm just gonna throw something out there, since I believe this is gonna be one of the better divisional weekends we're going to have for NFL football.
Hands down.
I will not be surprised if every single game has an upset.
Well,
I don't think that happens.
As much as I talked up Kansas City, I'm not going to lie. I am on Buffalo plus 2.5. The line moved to 2. I like Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to put up a great game. I do think Cincinnati is going to keep it close with Tennessee. The game that most intrigues me is that San Francisco game. If I could get a friend from California in the San Francisco area to let me know if those guys are healthy enough to play. But again, they just have so many injuries.
We're going to find out.
6 points, it's just game. So much,
I believe they're the first game off the docket this week, right? No, I think it's, what do we got? I think the Bengals game against Tennessee starts us off. But I think they're a Saturday game. So I think that they're a Saturday game? Saturday and Green Bay. Okay, so Saturday night, we got the game. And let me tell you, if they're not a healthy team and you're playing at night in the frozen tundra, it's going to be a long night. And I just don't see, personally, Aaron Rodgers going to go because this could be his swan song from the Green Bay Packers. And I just don't see him losing the opening because he's done this a lot. He's not the best in the playoffs, unfortunately. He's got like an 11-9 record. I believe the Packers will win this game because I just believe they make it to the other. I can't pick against Brady. Well, I can't bet against Brady. So I'm going to pick the Rams out of the
That's a heck of a pick. I don't know. And again, my numbers tell me Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
My numbers tell me Tampa Bay.
If I had to put money on this, Gil, I would bet the Bucs all day.
My contention is what we saw on Monday night against Arizona. Was that just the third division game?
Correct.
You know your opponent so well, and your guys got up for that game and, shot their wad. Are they coming back Sunday at Tampa? Again, the GOAT knows his days are numbered.
Yep.
He's got this year, one more year. He is playing at an incredible level. I think that their offense has done a great job to adjust to their injuries, and so we'll see how their defense can put up against. We'll see with another head football coaching candidate, Mr. Todd Bowles. We'll see what Todd Bowles can do with that Tampa Bay defense.
Well, I also want to see from my AFC that I'm going to let out there. I want to see a Chiefs-Bengals AFC Championship. I would love that.
As long as the Chiefs win by one. I know. Can they win by one?
I know.
Thanks.
You want them to cover.
This is fan Mario. I hear you, bro. Just by one, bro.
This is the Grizz fan. I'm just saying. If I had to put money on these games, I'd probably lean on the Bills, unfortunately. Because you're right. But I just want to see because I want redemption. I like the Chiefs to win this whole thing. And I just want Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes, man. That's just
Shootout
what
City.
I want. Yeah,
So,
I'm just looking at I wanted that last year.
You won't take a Josh Allen against me?
I would, but I'm just saying I wanted it last year and Brady had to go fuck this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have had the State Farm commercial set. It was the easiest commercial ever.
Nah, it would have been crazy, yeah?
So that's all I wanted to say right before we stop because, this is going to be a fun weekend and we NFL's almost over. And every time I say that, it bothers me. So, anyways, it's the rare show without the Frankster. Hopefully we'll have him back next week. We wish him well. Hopefully he gets what he needs to get done, and he will. But again, as always, it's fun doing this. I have a ball, and I had a ball doing it with the best coach I know, Gil. And anything you want to say before we head out of here?
No, it was a pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we kept the vernacular, our vocabulary to regular stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I think
sometimes we need a thesaurus with our third wheel.
Love him
with Coach Frankie, but it was good. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grizz. Good stuff. Guys, thank you for listening. Man,
I'll echo that.
Download us. Like us,
follow us,
comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like.
Yeah. That's all we can ask for. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.